Divide and turnout. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, here's what we know tonight about the state of America. Mortgage demand plummets as rates are going higher. Workers have essentially had 24 months now of pay cuts. Public pessimism about the economy hit an all-time high under Biden. Oh boy, layoffs, they're coming. Today, Meta announced it's cutting 4,000 more technical employees. And as DeSantis slugging it out with Disney, Disney is reportedly cutting 7,000 jobs, including 15% of its entire entertainment division. ESPN, they're getting hit and hit hard. More layoffs there. And of course, Biden's war against cars continues. Gas prices have reached a 5-month high. Now, as all of this is weighing on us, there's no end in sight as well for the war in Ukraine.
The Biden-Harris administration will announce a new security assistance package for Ukraine. The announcement will be the 36th use of presidential drawdown authorities to support Ukraine.
$200+ million more. And some of the biggest economies in the world, countries we all thought were our allies, are now aligning with China. First, Macron in France, he went to Beijing, and Lula in Brazil followed.
While in Beijing, Lula met with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping and vowed to strengthen ties. And as Stefano Pozzebon reports, Brazil's leader also took a few swipes at the dominance of the U.S. dollar.
Shocking, not. All right, I'm not even going to belabor the obvious about the border. It's an open sewer of fentanyl, cartels, and human trafficking, all due to Biden's policies and the ending of Title 42. There isn't even anything to debate here anymore. Biden is a complete and utter disaster on all fronts. He's an embarrassment on the world stage.
All the business enterprises, they look at me like, hey, guys, don't jump, OK? I've been in and out of Iraq and Iran, but Iraq, not Iran. I'm fires as a consequence of the utility poles you put up and all the rest.
Oh, the utility pole problem. Yeah. He's a complete incompetent. And no one believes he's calling any of the shots. No one is better off than they were pre-pandemic when Trump was president. So given all of that, which everyone, if you're really being honest, everyone agrees with, what on earth should we expect from Biden if he does run, and from the Democrats in general going into 2024? I'll tell you what to expect. Divide and demonize. That's all they have. Forget hope and optimism. Remember Obama's hope and change? That's out the window. Expect only old-school, machine-style petty politics. If he wants to get elected with this nightmarish record of his, Biden has to divide the country into villains and victims. And whoever they deem as worthy victims will be elevated to hero status, and they're going to get rewarded. And whoever they paint as evil will be punished, and severely. So in every speech, on every trip, he'll try to shift attention away from his and his party's abject failures to the bad people out there on the other side. He can't win without dividing us. The stories they choose to inject themselves into will only be ones that advance their political narrative. This is why they'll give a hero's welcome to the Tennessee Three, but not to the families of the Nashville Christian shooting.
Monday, you're going to have 3 of the lawmakers who protested
Peacefully protested.
Who peacefully protested after the Nashville Covenant School shooting. Have any of the victims or the victims' families been invited to the White House?
I don't have anything to read out to you about any invite.
Why?
I just don't have anything at this time to read out to you any invite. What I can say to you right now is that the president is focused on getting things done. He's focused on making sure that we are protecting our communities.
Protecting our communities. Well, why doesn't Biden spend any time then talking about the violent crimes being perpetrated by roving kids in places like Chicago and Compton? Well, don't expect Democrats to spend a lot of time on those stories, because they do not advance the narrative that America's racist. Same with the horrible Sweet 16 shooting in Alabama. These are not the accused. They're not a white officer involved shooting or a white on black killing. So they don't get the play. Of course, the liberals have lots of proxies, though, in the media. In Hollywood, corporate America, they're all helping him out. And of course, we can't forget the activist crowd. People who cash in on the lie that our country is systemically racist. Well, there's no money in suing gangbangers in Chicago who leave behind a trail of death. There's no fame in pursuing the scourge of black-on-black violence that rips apart entire communities. Instead, they wait. They wait for the perfect fact pattern, like an 84-year-old white guy who shoots a black teen who mistakenly walked onto his doorstep.
It was a white man who shot their 16-year-old son. It is inescapable not to observe the racial dynamics here. If the roles were reversed and you had a black man shoot a 16-year-old white child for simply ringing his doorbell, and the police took him in for questioning and let him come home and sleep in his bed at night, how much outrage would there be in America?
Victims are victims. Skin color should not matter. But it obviously does to Democrats and the media exploiting their suffering only to feed their sick lie that America is racist. And yeah, Trump voters, they are too. Now, Biden's inviting Ralph Yarl, the black teen, to the White House. But no invite for the family of Kaylin Gillis, who was shot when she went up the wrong driveway in upstate New York last week. That girl died, but she was white, so her death didn't help Biden. Now, understand what the Democrats and their allies are doing here. Even if you're losing money every month, even if you're sinking further into debt, you and your family, even if you think Biden should be in a rest home somewhere, you can't vote against him. You can't vote for change because, as their argument goes, Republicans are evil. And voting against Biden is akin to giving your thumbs up for racism. Their tactics are so transparent and they're so cynical. But there you have it. But it doesn't have to be this way. Just because Biden has given up on America doesn't mean that we should as well. As we go into 2024, Republicans have to show the country, and I'm talking about the whole country, not just red states, that there is a better way. We can grow this economy. We can rebuild our military. We can stand up to China. We can rein in big business. We know how to do it. And Republicans in state after state are doing it. Now, let's take that message to New York, to Philly, to Chicago, yeah, even San Francisco and LA. Let's save the whole country, no state and no city left behind. America has survived, almost 250 years now? We certainly will not be destroyed by Joe Biden and his cynical handlers. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.